NRL Fantasy Round 23 is in the books. And if you crack 900 this week, you've done pretty well, right? It was a bit of a messy week, a lot of low scores. Looking at my team here, I went about 952. I jumped up to rank 868 this week from about 980 last week. So nice little jump for me. But even with that, some disappointments. Connor Watson, absolute shocker. Shout out to Jay-Z, who I had a cash league grand final against. He had Brayley, I had Watson. Brayley scored 76, Watson scored 28. So I had no hope there. Then tearing through, Payne Haas went big. If you captain Payne Haas, you killed it. My side, Tarpanay, I know some of you guys have reached out and said that he's owed a few offloads. Hopefully they come, but I'm not holding my breath. And then for the rest of the team here, just a lot of plod, James Tedesco, will shout out. Most of us have Teddy. If you don't have Teddy this week, you copped it bad. In terms of the rest of the bench here, from my side, a lot of that 45 sort of action, right? Turbo, Galvin, that loophole around between them didn't really matter. Scored 34 and 35. So a bit of a messy week for me, but a nice little rise in the ranks here. And then jumping into the top scorers of the round, Jimmy Tedesco is number one. 96 points for Teddy. Unstoppable. We'll talk about him when we get to the Roosters there. Payne Haas, he was a very popular captain pod. So about 10% of the top teams captain Payne Haas. And if you did that, then you absolutely killed it. Bravo to you. You had the balls and you made the call. So I respect the hell out of that. I didn't do it. I wish I did. Tyron Wishart, 76 points, had a big day out. And we talked about him so much as that perfect loophole option. This was that loophole coming into play. So if you got on the Wishart Express, like we've been pushing, then hey, you nailed it. Ethan Strange has these days, not reliable enough, so I'm not really going to float on him. Brayley, a 72 here, a lot of tackles in this one. Phoenix Crossland dealing with the HIA, so a couple of you guys in the top as well. I've seen you with Brayley in that loophole spot. Great play from you. Sammy Walker in the 60s here. Hopgood, massive PPM from him. Big minutes here, killed it. Verrills on a bit of form right now. Tungo, Kohler, and Nathan Cleary in that 64. And I'll just touch on the 60-plus guys. Liam Henry, Cam Munster got there as well. Simpkin, Brayley, Johnson, Campbell got that 60. Campbell's so close to having that try as well. We'll talk about him in a sec. But if he had that try, it would have been like an 80-plus sort of score. So it's a rough go for Campbell captainers, but 60 is still reasonably solid. And Eli Katara, we'll shout out too. He's kept it going in spite of Jerome Hughes going down. He's been very effective through this period. So any talk of him fading has not been true at all. And I thought he might fade a little more, but he's been fantastic. Now, Eels v Cowboys up first. We'll rip through these. It's one Eel, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Cowboys. So very Cowboys dominant fantasy game here. For Parramatta, it's Hopgood, 46 tackles, 3 tackle breaks, 1 forced turnover, and 131 run meters there. A couple of penalties, but really defensive work rate was the big play here. 65 points in 65 minutes. He can be that PPM guy when he plays in the middle, especially at prop. I wouldn't expect him to play these sorts of minutes going forward, but with Tuivasa out injured right now, he's going to do it for a bit. So if you do want a pod in that sort of front row and edge position there, you can grab onto Hopgood. For this year, there aren't really too many players who are coming back that are going to threaten him as well. Next year, there's Jack DeBellin coming in. There's a few other guys. But for this year, he should maintain a pretty solid base. And this was sort of that upper ceiling for him, right? So he's been scoring that 45 the last few weeks, but it's looking more like it's 40 to 60, 40 to 65 that he can score there. So if you're desperate, need a cheap guy, good shout. Cohen Hess, when he gets the minutes, he gets the points too, but it's just too patchy for me to take him seriously. Robson, 55 tackles, 52 points. Cotter with a 51 here on 56 tackles. 7 missed tackles isn't great, and the tackle breaks, no offloads. But big work rate at lock, so if you were desperate, buying round 27 isn't great. Braden Burns can get it done. He got that 50. Drinkwater with a 49 here. No attacking stats, but 300 kick meters, 155 run meters, an offload, and 6 tackle breaks. So he was very effective on the ground. He threatened a lot with his running game. So didn't grab those attacking stats, and he still got a 49 there. So very good score from him. Johnny Bateman, 42 tackles, 49 points. Purdue with a 48 here, grabbed 2 tries. That definitely helped, the 2 tries there. Junior Barlow grabbed the 47. Into the 40s here, we got Clifford. Riley Smith played big minutes here, played a bit of lock in this game as well, which is very encouraging for him. Josh Addo-Carr with a double here in 46. Moses, a 42, returning to some fantasy form here, dominating kick meters there. Pretty good defensive numbers. No tackle breaks, no offloads, and 44 meters run, though. It's a bit low for Mitch Moses. Josh Papali'i, a 41 here. Had the try assist, but was just threatening with the ball in hand. Ran 200 meters in this game. Had 3 tackle breaks and offload. Looked pretty good in this one, Josh, I will say. Had some really nice moments. Jack Williams got a 40. It's all base here. So for 26 tackles, 2 tackle breaks, 1 offload, 117 run meters there. It's kind of what we talk about, him being that sort of 40s guy as a base, and then some attacking plays hopefully coming on top of that. But with him not playing next to Moses, if he moved next to Moses, I'd be jumping on Jack Williams in a heartbeat. But on the edge he's on, I just don't see it as much. Luca Moretti at 39, and then Hawkins. Dearden really quiet in this one. For Dearden, the big problem here was, kick meters are okay, 329. He split them with Drinkwater. 63 run meters, only 2 tackle breaks, and no offloads there. So for him, no attacking stats, not an effective running game. He was really shut down by Parramatta. He looked rushed as well. Like, there were times where he was putting kicks in. He didn't look confident today. So just an off game for Dearden. If you've bought him in, I wouldn't be freaking out about it. This is just the lower end of, what a running six is gonna do every now and then. But yeah, Parramatta really put the clamps on Tom Dearden. And down to 30 and below, we got Walker, Penasini, Tamalolo, Geimer. Yeah, Geimer only got 48 minutes. I talked about this last week. 12 missed tackles last week. He was always going to get a rest, and Kelmore was on the bench, so he was an avoid. Laybut, Valame, Nanai at 25, really quiet from him. Lomax at 24. So, 150 meters is nice. 3 offloads is good. 2 tackle breaks is okay, but then you got 3 missed tackles there, 4 errors, and no attacking stats. So we only got the 24 there. Dylan Brown, really passive performance from him, was solid in defense, but 77 run meters there. 2 tackle breaks, no offloads, no attacking plays there from Dylan. So he's just getting cheaper and cheaper. And next year at Newcastle, you'd think he's going to be value because he's going to be priced at like a 35. So he's going to be good value next year. And then down the bottom, Kelmer. Yeah, we got no one else really to talk about here. Talon De Silva, 25 minutes only, had a bit of a shocker. I think he bounces back next week, but he's not really a big fantasy producer anyway. Now, ripping through. Next game here, Titans v Rabbits, and Verrills led the way in this one, 65 points for him. Grabbed a try. He's had a couple of tries recently, and when he gets the tries and he cracks his 50 tackles, he's fantastic. Now, is he going to score those tries every week? Probably not, but the Titans are in good form, and Verrills is in good form too. Titans are very unlucky not to win this game. Johnston, 2 tries here, 2 line breaks, 8 tackle breaks. Very effective game from him as well. And when Latrell plays, often Johnston gets a bit of a boost. I would say that Johnston, though, he is not going to be this kind of performer for the rest of the year. So if you're in a super coach comp, something like that, you could maybe look at him. But if you're in a fantasy first mentality, which 99.99% of you guys are, you're not really looking at Johnston unless you maybe want him as a looper or something crazy like that. Maybe you're a Souths fan, you want to own him when he breaks the record and, keeps on extending that record and all that. Like maybe that's why you jumped on. But other than that, not really. Now, Campbell here, a 60 for Campbell. And the big note here is that Campbell only had that line break in the 60. So basically no attacking stats, just a line break there. Kicked 3 goals, had 20 tackles, 8 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, nearly 100 meters run, and nearly 400 meters kick there. So very solid base game. Nearly put that ball down for a try, instead had an error. That would have made it a 70-point game, or 72 points because he would have kicked the goal. So 72 it could have been, but Latrell knocked that ball out and saved the day there. Now, Latrell Mitchell, 2 try savers. One of them was to stop Campbell from scoring that try. For him, 57 points here. You got the try assist and the line break here. You've got no kick meters whatsoever. 115 meters runs, very involved. 2 forced turnovers, the 2 try savers. That's 18 points that really boosted. And the try savers and the forced turnovers are not a sustainable stat. Like, you're not going to get 18 points out of those every week. I would say Latrell is effective at removing the ball. So you could factor in maybe a turnover per game, maybe. That's about 4 points there. There's going to be a few try savers here and there as well, but if you factored in 5 points from those instead of the 18, that would be more realistic. So that really, to me, makes this more like a mid-40s performance plus some defensive extras. So for Latrell, you want him going back to kicking the ball. That's the big thing here. When he goes back to kicking the ball, I have no concerns whatsoever. But if he's not going to be kicking the ball, the average isn't going to, like, this isn't just a 57 without a try. It was amazing. There were extras here. That's the kind of main thing I want to hammer home. So if he goes back to fullback next week, he's going to be unstoppable though. So everyone's going to be jumping on next week if they have the trades and if they have the players to sell. But if you don't, I wouldn't get too much FOMO, even though the matchup is good against Parramatta. So Trell, yep, very solid. But don't freak out too much if you don't have him. And if you do, be stoked about a 57 without a try. It is a good performance here. Cleese Haas had 4 offloads, 6 tackle breaks in this game. That's 28 points of mayonnaise. Those Mayo stats we talk about. No attacking stats there, but very solid. Only 56 minutes. He was set to have a big game if he played 80 minutes, but he very rarely does. Jola for the 52, and Fodawaker was ruled out of this one. Tino didn't play. I'm not overreading into this. The 52 is in 70 minutes. I just think he's going to taper off when those guys are back. That's my take on it. But if you've jumped on Jolliffe, then don't let me make you feel bad because he scored 52 and you got a good score out of him. Fafita with a 50, Firma a 46, played a bit of center in this one as well, but yeah, just he got that try, and then it's pretty middling outside of that. So 25 tackles is a bit low. 132 run meters is very solid, but only 2 tackle breaks, no offloads there. He normally racks up a few more of those stats. So, 46 is okay. We can live with it. It's better than Gagai, and that was really the alternative for most people at center. Chris Randall with a 43, Arrow, Brimson, Camperera, Kepi, Tass, Duncan down to the mid 30s. Now, Duncan, big one here, 8 missed tackles, minus 16 points. For Duncan, I think we need to make sure we're not fooled into thinking he's like a 55 to 60 average guy. He had some big attacking days, and he's a very effective young back rower, but they don't have Cody Walker in the halves feeding him those balls. And when he had that big day out, it was Cody Walker that just kept feeding him like great passes. I think Cody Walker's a bit underrated. And I think people are sort of they're glossing over the fact that Cody Walker being in the halves, it does elevate the other guys like Talis Duncan. So I would say like 36, that's a bit low, but I would say more like a 45 is going to be his average for the rest of the year. So if you do have him, just adjust your expectations a bit accordingly and temper them for that 45 instead. In this game, if he had 3 missed tackles, he would add 46. That's kind of what I think Talis Duncan is going forward. But if they do score tries, which they do have some good fixtures coming up, then he can have bigger days. Campbell Gillard at 35. Then we go into the low 30s here with Host, Bentley Hape, De Groot, Isaac Famasolali. And then to the 20s here, Brandon Smith played 58 minutes. So good minutes here, 100 meters plus, a few tackles as well, but not a big score. Brian Kelly, Jai Gray with a 26 here. So very quiet from Gray. If you got on him, you're liking the meters, like nearly 200 meters a game, but just not much else going on. Then Paxton Humphreys had 436 kick meters in this game and still only scored 23. That is a disaster. If you're a Humphreys owner, you would have seen those kick meters and just thought, yeah, sweet, we're on here. Didn't pan out at all. He's really fallen off. And if you got him in your team, it's hard to move him because he's an awkward price, but you could consider doing it. Then Foreign Fletcher, LeBlanc, solid enough. Mama Zealous started in this one. Hubner with a 20, Simpkins. Yeah, no one else really. Adam Ward, 15 points. So really quiet from him. 26 meters run, no tackle breaks, no offloads, and low kick meters there. It's always going to be a low day if you can't combine any of those stats. Now, Doggies v Warriors next. This was an interesting game. So the Wires had their moments, but the Dogs sort of felt like they had this one under control. And the top 6 scorers were all Bulldogs, as well as 8 of the top 9 scorers. Val Munga, yet again, at the top of the list here for the Warriors. He's been absolutely fantastic recently. Great young prop. I hope he can keep the minutes when they are at full strength because I think he's well and truly earned them. Now, Crichton up first, 59 points. No one cracked 60 in this one. Crichton had a try, 6 goals, a try assist, a line break, 6 tackle breaks in this game. Only 77 meters run and only 8 tackles. So low base stats here, but big attacking day for Stephen Crichton. If you got him in your team, you're riding the wave. If you don't, I wouldn't have FOMO about a 59 personally. Tuala grabbed 2 tries and got the 58, 3 line breaks, 7 tackle breaks. It was a day where a lot of open ball went down Tuala's wing. Preston with a 45. The third highest score in this game was a 45. Just a disaster. 46 meters run. He had 17 meters run in the 60th minute. I remember looking at that just thinking, oh, God, what is going on? 39 tackles is nice, but just didn't get that ball. And I thought in wet weather, he would get a bit more of that ball. They'd feed the short ball, give him a bit of early ball, but Preston got sweet F all in terms of ball, and 45 points is okay, but we just want a bit more out of Jacob Preston. Kickout grabbed a try, but still only 45 as well. 5 missed tackles really knocked him off here. And again, the base was low, 85 meters run, not great. Jacob Carraz, and like looking across the board, the meters were low for everyone. Like Carraz, 149 meters, that is low for him. Had the try assist, 6 tackle breaks, 2 offloads. So he got his work done, got 43 points, but again, just not a lot of base going around this one. And then down to 40 and sort of the high to mid 30s here. We got King at a 41, Valmunga at a 41, then Hayward at 40. Into the 30s here, we go to Burton, Aaron Clark, Hayes, Galvin, Hughes, Curran, Lussick, Stowers, Smith. For a few of these guys we'll talk about, Matt Burton, 35 meters run. That's a big thing, right? So Burton's fantasy game is built on running 100 meters a game and having those random 200-meter games. And when he runs it for 35, you're just not going to get the stats out of him. So 39 there. Aaron Clark, 61 minutes is encouraging, but again, it was a garbage little game. It was a wet weather game, scrappy, a lot of base stats. Aaron Clark is a massive base stat accumulator. Had the 32 tackles, which is good, but 5 missed tackles for minus 10. Only 110 meters run. Only the offload to ground. Just wasn't Aaron Clark's day, but I wouldn't be stressing. 61 minutes is fantastic for Clark. So if you're on the Clark train, don't stress it too much. Galvin with a 34, 56 meters run. Kick meters were good in this one. 56 meters, no tackle breaks, no offloads, no attacking stats. 34, that's pretty much what you expect from Galvin. He's very similar to Wishart, right? Like they're very similar scoring profiles. Galvin's probably slightly better of a base just because of the kick meters, but Wishart is on that Storm side who are absolutely electric, whereas Galvin's still sort of finding his feet. Then down the list here, anyone else we want to talk about? RTS at 29. James Fisher Harris came back, scored a 27. He's not been it this year for fantasy. Healy ended up coming off the bench, scored that try, 26 points in 32 minutes. If you got on him, you're not super stoked about that either. Jackson Ford, 21 and 59. And I couldn't put my finger on it all week, the last few weeks. Just, I keep saying this, like, it makes sense. He makes sense as a pod. I just can't trust him. And I felt the same way about Loyero. Like, it's just these guys that haven't really proven it, and they haven't proven that PPM. And they have a bit of a history of having these random shockers. 21 for him, 8 missed tackles, minus 16 points from that. Only 48 meters run, no offloads, no tackle breaks. I guess it's wet weather, but yeah, a bit of a shocker there. If you got on him, you're not going to freak out. Keep running him. He should be fine next week. Like, he should bounce back. 59 minutes is encouraging, but just an absolute shocker there. Kurt Capewell had to move to center and didn't play the full game, so 67 minutes for him. Only 14 meters run. You're going to get a 21-point game. That's a dud. And then down the list, DWZ, no tries for him. Reed Marnie played 16 minutes, got 15 points. Reed Marnie is going to be value next year, though. He's going to be big value next year at the Cowboys because these minutes down the stretch, he's going to be priced at like a 35 next year. So we love that as fantasy coaches because I love Reed Marnie. I reckon he's an absolute stud. I think he's going to kill it at the Cowboys. And Niokore Pompey, Halasima did the HIA. So, he only had 43 minutes in this one. Did come back, but played a bit of center as well. And it was a bit of a mess from him. 12 points. CNK with 11. Just a shocker there. 80 minutes. Played a bit of half in this one. And Tamari Martin went off with a HIA, Category 1. He will be out next week. Most likely, Tanner Boyd comes back in, replaces Tamari Martin. If you got Tamari Martin, you're in some bad luck. You're in some bad luck. That was just a rough one. Now, again, dominated by fantasy scores here. Roosters won 64-12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Top 7 scorers were Chooks. Tedesco, 96 points. Do I have to go through this? Like 2 tries, 3 try assists, a line break, 4 line break assists. You got 7 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 2 forced turnovers, and 160 meters run. A dominant performance from him. 96 points. He showed us who he is. And James Tedesco has been out of form recently, but we did say don't lose the faith. I'll tell you what, though, I wasn't talking about him as a captain option this week, and I really missed a beat on that one. Sam Walker, 69 points, a nice score there. 10 goals for 20 points definitely helps. 3 try assists helps even more. He was absolutely dominant this one, really pulling the strings and just unstoppable here. I'm not jumping on Sam Walker personally. He's not getting the dominant kick meter role next to Savala, and the run meters aren't great either. He's still coming back from injury, so I don't think he's at the peak of his powers just yet, but he is playing great footy. I just don't think it's going to translate to fantasy consistently in games that are a bit tougher. Dan Tupou with a 60 here, grabbed the 3 line breaks, 2 tries. That's how it happens. Savala a 58, Lenu a 56, grabbed a try in this one. Didn't keep his big minutes going, only 39 minutes in this one. Also had that sin bin, but 10 tackle breaks, 141 meters run. If Lenu played like this every week, I think he could. Like not quite a try and 10 tackle breaks, but I think if he focused on his attack a bit more and did this every week, he would be bloody unstoppable, man. So hopefully he sort of sees this and goes, you know what, I could do that every week. Because Lenu's a stud, but I just feel like we get big dog Lenu at Origin, we get it in the finals, and we get it sometimes in club footy, just not every week. So we could be seeing Lenu evolving to the next level. Egan Butcher went into the 40s now. This is a good game for fantasy, by the way. So Egan Butcher at 49, Nafahu White at 47, Katoa at 45. But Katoa here, not a bad game. Not a bad game. 121 run meters here. Low kick meters because the Dolphins couldn't hold on to the ball to save their lives. Defensive stats were okay. 22 tackles, 2 missed. In a game where they conceded 60, that's fine. 1 tackle break, no offloads. That's the downer there. And no attacking stats. So if you're looking at a guy who just conceded 64 points, he plays in the halves, he had no attacking stats whatsoever. A 45, I can live with that. And I bought Katoa this week. So I'm not stoked about it. But when you look at that game, when you watch that game, I thought, you know what, 45, I'll take that. I won't complain too much. Billy Smith with a 42. Nafahu, Tavita Nafahu grabbed 2 tries in this one and got 42 points as well. 160 run meters here. Then down to the 40s and 30s, like low 40s and 30s. Marshall King with a 41. Collins a 41. Crichton with a 40. 96 meters run, 25 tackles, 1 tackle break, 1 offload. Was not involved in the attack whatsoever. What are you going to do about it? Meanwhile, Nwani Tuase, the opposite problem. 3 tries here, 40 points. You thought, 2 tries in the first 15 minutes. I was running victory laps. Like, I don't own him, but I was talking him up so much this week about how he's going to feast. He's going to dominate that edge. They're going to score so many tries. He's going to pump out a massive score. And they scored all those tries. He was on 22 points after 15 minutes with 2 tries. I thought, yeah, sweet. We're on here. No base stats, really. Like 169 meters is good, but 4 errors, 3 missed tackles, only the 4 tackle breaks, no offloads. Just didn't really rack him up. So 40 points here. You stick with him, but a bit disappointing. When you see a hat trick, you think you get a bit more than 40 points. Hey, Rob Toyer with a 38. Again, started hot, cooled off. Donahue, a 37. Lower minutes here, so 59 minutes. And we did talk about that a bit this week, that, when they're at full strength, there may be a threat to his minutes. This was him getting that lower range of minutes there, and in a game where they got absolutely smashed as well. So I wouldn't be selling him, but that's just going to be part of the variability, and that's why he is a bit of a discount here as well. Same with Hopgood, for example. Like he's going to be a bit more variable as well. So they're those guys in that 600K range. That's what's going to happen. Averillo 36, and then we're down into the 30s here. Like Connor Watson at 28. I hate this score so much. Connor Watson lost me some very important fantasy matchups this week with his 28 points. And he had that try assist. He had 20 tackles. So that takes him to 27. You got 43 run meters, no kicking, no tackle breaks, no offloads, a missed tackle and an error. Just did not get involved in the attack, basically whatsoever. Shocker. I'm fuming about this one. Fuming. This was the kind of game where you just wanted to see Connor Watson running the ball and getting out and getting involved in the attack. And it just did not happen whatsoever. And it should have happened, because you saw how dominant Spencer Lenu was, for example. Like, the Roosters forwards were on fire and Connor Watson just could not get it going. Then down lower, Molo, Iolu, Nakora, Oblix Taufa had that sin bins that knocked him down to a 24. Viketti, 24 and 23, good PPM, just not getting the minutes there. Hammer at 21 makes sense. They got smashed. Asako and 18 makes sense. They got smashed. Finafuyaki, really quiet, 15 and 80 minutes here. Lemuelu as well. Yeah, look, Saw Wong went down with the injury too. Only 7 points for him. Keep an eye on Mail for that one for confirmation of what happens there. Then Dragons v Sharks. Keep ripping through. And Dragons, if you're a Dragons fan, good job on the upset. You guys got one. Bravo. Sharks fans, you guys have got to be a bit concerned, because you have these great games and then you lose to the Dragons. it's all over the place. But, the Dragons revved up for this one. And Jack DeBellin, I just want to talk about him before I talk about Brayley. 164 meters run, 35 tackles, 2 tackle breaks, and a forced turnover. No missed tackles, no errors, no attacking stats, none of that. Just 57 points of pure base. Very strong game from him. Blake Brayley, a 62. Had a reasonably low sort of attacking count here. So 1 tackle break, no attacking stats, no offloads, 37 meters run, but had 57 tackles and no negatives. So that's what really propped him up. If you're a Brayley owner, you like the 62. Nico Hines at 56 here, had the try assist, 100 meters plus run, not a lot of kicking here, 34 tackles with 4 misses. Not a lot of points, like 2 points from offloads, no points from tackle breaks. The downer there, that could have really bumped him up. But when he's running 100 meters plus, I'm pretty happy with Nico. Then Gutho with the 56, he has this day every now and then. 2 line breaks, a try assist, a try. That sort of really propped Gutho up. AFB with a 55 in 58 minutes, mostly based on base stats here. 44 tackles, 171 run meters, and just the tackle break there. A couple of negatives there in the missed tackle and error count as well. Clemmer with a 54, he's been getting it done lately. He's up to nearly 600K as well, which is just absurd. It's just absurd. Like, I could have been recommending you guys buy Clemmer at what was he? He was like 350K, wasn't he? He's now at like 573 and he's going upwards. It's absolutely crazy. And he just sort of slowly crept up and up and up when Couchman was on the edge and, when a few things were going wrong. And by the time, you seriously sort of had a look at him, he was 450K. And now he's even more expensive. So, yeah, just a real sleeper there, David Clemmer. King Tonga with a 53, good day out for him. 241 kick meters is very high for King Tonga. 57 run meters is solid, but 2 offloads, 3 tackle breaks, 24 tackles with only 1 miss and a line break. It's a pretty sweet score from King Tonga. So he's sort of showing some signs that he's starting to develop some fantasy pedigree here. Hamlin Ueli with a 49, and we're still in the 40. We're just cracked out below the 50s here. So high scoring fantasy game. But in that 40s area, you got Hamlin Ueli, Hamish Stewart, got the 80 minutes here for 49 points. Fantastic game for Hamish Stewart. Leilua, 48 points in 62 minutes. Again, very solid. 5 tackle breaks and 3 offloads. Bumps that up. Buchanan at center had the try and the try assist, both involving Gutho. So Gutho fed him one. He fed Gutho one. 110 run meters is good. Relatively good involvement with the offload, 2 tackle breaks there as well. If you're desperate and if he keeps a spot, he's a bit of a goer, but there was a lot of attack involved in this one. So I would say that he's going to have his 20-point games as well. Britton Nakora with a 46. He is out for, I believe it's 3 weeks. They also have that bye as well. So he's out till the finals, basically. So Britton Nakora is now fantasy irrelevant officially, unless he challenges. But if you have Nakora on your team, that's rough. That's actually really rough. He was a massive pod, and now he's suspended for the year. Damien Cook, a 42, 38 tackles. He went to the center spot after a while, though, so that really slowed him down. Little, a 42 as well. McInnes, 42. Wilton, Hazleton in the low 40s there. And then we go into the 30s. We have Flanagan, Mulatalo, Sully, Kennedy, Gula, Ramian, Sele. Then we go into 20s here. Rudolph, Laurie, Sloan, Trindle, Talakai, Katoa, and Puru. And the low scores here, Halangahu, just want to nail that. I think there are a few signs going around with this guy as well. I think it was Release the Beast I saw in the stands. So he's obviously got some fans. Then Corey Allen and Braden Burns, who might get some more minutes going forward, actually, if Nakora's out. So keep an eye on that if you do need a cheap edge back rower next week. I know a few of you guys are running Hosking and Hudson Young, who are both on buys. So you might be in a position where you want to get that cheap edge back rower instead. And Burns could be the guy. Now, Raiders v Seagulls up next, and Ethan Strange, man. 3 tries, 3 line breaks, 7 tackle breaks, 113 run meters. He's playing great footy. He's probably going to be in contention for 5/8 of the year as well, which is absurd, right? But fantasy doesn't always reflect real life. He's 484K, but he's been playing lights out footy. Very strong defensive half as well, and 75 points here. As a reward for that. Could be in the Australia team. On the extended bench at the end of the year, he's one of those guys you could plug into the halves off the bench, at center, that kind of thing as well. So yeah, he's playing some lights out footy. It's been great seeing Ethan Strange and Tom Dearden rising up this year, because I was sort of looking at the 5/8 spot this year, and Cam Munster's getting a bit older. Cody Walker's really aging out right now as well. Dylan Brown hasn't been his best. Jerome Luai at the Tigers kind of struggling too. And I was thinking, all right, the 5/8 spot, it's not that great at the moment. And you've got Ethan Strange popping up, and you've got Tom Dearden, who he plays halfback, but he's a bit of a 5/8 as well. Like these pure running halves, we're seeing a few of these guys popping up, and they are such fun to watch. So it's fantasy irrelevant, but it's just fun to watch Ethan Strange. Tolu Kola, another guy with a great running game, 9 tackle breaks here, had the 2 line breaks and 158 run meters. Electric footy player when he gets his hands on the ball. Manly need to figure out how to get him ball consistently though, because there are games where he gets frosted out, and I'd consider him at I don't know, maybe I'm a bit biased towards the tangibles, the speed, the power, all that. I just think when he plays fullback for Manly, they look so explosive. And look, Turbo's Turbo, so I'm not going to debate Turbo's position. But when Kohler plays fullback, or at least gets that shot to move into fullback every now and then, he is so electric, and I just love to see it more. Simpkin, big score here. Played the 80 minutes here. 63 points, 54 tackles. That was the story there. Corey Horsburgh, bounce back game, 58 in 48. Great PPM. Hudson Young with a 51 here. Again, no attacking stats. So he's scoring great, but no attacking stats to really boost his scores up. Starling, we're into the 40s now. 49 points here, 44 tackles. Hosking with a 46 in 65. Bullimore, 45. Good PPM there. Waddell grabbed a 43 in 80 minutes. Olakuatu's obviously gone, so he's going to play the rest of the year. He's probably going to average about 43, I would say. That's a pretty safe forecast for him. They have some easier matchups, so he might grab a try at some point. Fogarty, 41 points. Bit disappointing heading into his bye. The big thing here is no attacking stats, 1 tackle break, no offloads, 8 meters run, right? So you're getting that base, the tackles there, the kick meters, but you just need a little bit more from Fogarty. Tomoko, big pod that's been paying off, 41 points, nothing to, to balk at, but still, last week's score was better. Right? I think it was 61 last week. Josh Papali'i, 45 minutes, 39 points. Getting down to Seb Chris, and then my boy Joey Tarpanay. And yeah, I got a lot of messages. I mean, I was out for when that was this. Let me just make sure I got this right. Yeah, Friday night. Yeah, so I was out for my birthday drinks. So I was doing a bit of karaoke, which you might be able to hear my voice. And I'd had quite a few drinks. So at this point, I hadn't seen them. But I've been told that Tarpanay was owed a couple of offloads. And they were fringe ones where he was being held onto and he threw the offload. But, he hasn't got them. It's just going to happen sometimes, guys. If it lost you a head-to-head game, you can complain. But if you're just playing overall, 4 points, 8 points, whatever it is, you sort of got to roll with it. Like it's going to happen every now and then. I know a few of you guys sent emails through. I'm all for that. We'll see if they correct it, but if not, then maybe they just weren't offloady enough to count. So you just got to roll with it. Tommy Turbo at 35 as well. And man, we're down into my players now with these mediocre scores. For Turbo here, grabbed a try, really just a support try, 8-point try. 185 run meters is very encouraging. 4 tackle breaks, I like that as well. But, we lose that defensive base, that 20 to 25 tackles that we love to see from Turbo. So 35 is okay. He's got good matchups coming up in the upcoming weeks, and they're playing for a final spot. I don't know if it's still possible, really, but they'll be playing for a final spot. So I think Turbo will go hard, and I think he has some big days left in him. Then we got Sipley, Cheekham, man, what a throwback. Michael Cheekham. We always used to have him in our teams back at the Tigers, South Sydney, a few other sides as well. Garrick with the 33 here, had the try saver, 137 run meters. He's not going great on the wing, is he? They've got some easier matchups again. So same thing I said about Turbo. It's true about Garrick as well. He's going to heat up, I would expect, over the next 4 weeks after this. And we talked about this, right? So coming out of Origin, I sold Garrick because I didn't like this 4-week stretch. They would really struggle, and he struggled worse than I thought, actually. But he then has a really easy matchup streak coming up now where I think he heats up. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe he moves back to center, more permanently as well. Like, there could be that happening. We'll see what happens. Smithies was a 32. Luke Brooks grabbed a 30. He's been in pretty poor form, but wasn't too bad in this one. Tavanga, a 30 as well, 42 minutes there. Xavier Savage, and we're down below 30. Daly Trey Evans, 29. I did ponder him as a bit of a pod this week. I really did ponder it because I could have gone Latu Fainu to Trey Evans. I thought, maybe. Does DCE heat up for the run home? I still think he could because they do have some easier matchups coming up now. He's going to be closer to like 550K as well. So if you're really desperate for a cheaper pod, you could do worse. Like, I'm not going to talk you into it, but he's the kind of guy who does have big scores in his bag, but it just hasn't really been there recently. So we need some dry weather footy against some easier matchups, and Trey Evans, and Turbo combining and running up some scores. So that's what I'm just going to flag it, because if he does score 70 next week, I want it on record that I said, hey, Trey Evans he's pretty primed. Now, down the list here, lower scores: Sasangi, Mariota, Jake Trebojevic, Tommy Talao, saving himself for next week. Don't worry about that. When he's going to be on the cheapies list, Jed Stewart, 19 points, Saba, 14, Lodge, Shop, KO Weeks with a 7 here, had the sin bin, so that really lowered his score, but even then without that, it's about a 15. So not ideal. And Owen Paddy, 12 minutes, 7 points. What are you going to do about that? Now, ripping into the Knights v Panthers, then we'll jump into Thursday's game, and I'll talk about my moves for this week. Jaden Brayley, 72 points. And I saw a few of you guys sitting up the top as well. I think Rasta Thames has him. I think Andrew might have him as well in first place. Jay-Z obviously has him as well. But a few of you guys do have Brayley. You had him in the loophole spot. You crushed it. You got that 72 points out of him. One of the best scorers of the week, actually. So for him, try assist, 68 tackles is absolutely disgusting. I hate you. I am so jealous of all of you who have him. 68 tackles, 1 forced turnover as well. That's 72 points in defense there. And then you just balance it out with missed tackles and a few attacking plays there. So, yeah, if you're a Brayley owner, he's going to be good next week as well. That's the thing, too, because Phoenix Crossland's now out, which I'm not cheering about that, right? But if you're a Brayley owner, you're just going to ride this wave of massive scores now, which is just great for you. No one else can really chase you and jump on because it's just kind of too late, isn't it? Now, Tungo, 65 points here, had that try assist there as well. Very solid attacking day from him. He does have that in his bag, and we've seen it in the past. Maybe it's coming back now. He's pretty patchy, though. Cleary, 64 here. Nearly had a few bigger plays here, but 89 meters run, all the kicking, 2 offloads, tackle break, 18 tackles, and 1 try assist, 6 goals. Probably just want a few more meters, a few more tackle breaks, maybe an attacking play on top of all this would have really bumped him up. 64 is fine as well. You live with a 64. We project about a 70 for Cleary, so 64 is close to the mark. It's not the best captain option. I mean, the other option was Payne Haas, and he went 82. So Haas owners 1, Cleary owners 0. Henry, 64. Grabbed that try. 43 minutes, though. Not that great. Croker with a 60. And then went into the 50s here. We talked about Brian To'o as a big pod this week. I was really keen. I just don't have enough trades to buy guys like Brian To'o. But 3 line breaks, a try, 6 tackle breaks, 243 run meters. This is what he can do. 57 points with 1 try is Brian To'o deluxe. And he could heat up down the stretch. Like, we talked about him as one of those potential league-winning guys. Crushed it. I know a few of you guys jumped on To'o. You messaged me and let me know. So bravo to you. You crushed it. That's a mad pod. it worked beautifully. Isaiah Papali'i, 47 minutes. He got the 56 with the try, but the 47 minutes, I think, is a bit of an L if you did buy Papali'i, but you take the score. Same with Lindsay Smith. Grabbed that try, but only 47 minutes. It's a good score, but you're a bit concerned. Blaze Talangi was very involved in this one. 2 try assists, 54 points, 172 run meters is massive. Jake Arthur dominated the kicking, so 516 kick meters for him. 33 tackles as well, 54 points. Can he maintain that? I don't really see it. They didn't play great in that game, so they might look to change things up. Luke Garner grabbed a try and 50 points. McEwen a 50 with a try as well. Very solid. 80 minutes from McEwen. So if you did jump on McEwen as a bit of a cheapie, it's worked out pretty well. Kai Pierce-Paul with a 48 here. Just 48 tackles, 48 points. No tackle breaks, no offloads, 62 run meters. He was practically irrelevant in this game except for just tackling. So I'll take a 48. I'll take a 48 there. Casey McLean, 2 tries, a 48. Jenkins down to 43 here with a try. Then into the low 40s and high 30s here. We've got Leota with a 41, Martin with a 40, Marzu 40, Leo Thompson, Frizzell, Safidi, all in the high 30s there. Braden Best with a 33. I mean, they got smashed, right? So, he's not going to pop off in that one. Kenny with a 31. Edwards with a 30 is very disappointing if you jumped on him. Now, look, if you've been on Edwards, you got some big scores out of him, so you can't really, no one can really crap on you too much, right? Because you got the big scores. But this was one where you expected a bit more out of Dylan Edwards, and the involvement was there. 232 run meters, 3 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists, but just didn't quite get involved in the attacking plays for that 30. Crossland, 30 points in 33 minutes. He was on a big one, but obviously that HIA. Then down below 30, Sorensen, Cogger, Gagai, 24, 6 missed tackles, 3 errors is minus 18, only 111 run meters, and just a tough game for Newcastle. So he was always going to struggle. Celessa, Eisenhuth, Young, Kant, Hunt, Schneider. I do think if you did get Gagai, though, I will say he's got some better matchups coming up. So this one, they got absolutely belted, 48-12. In the more competitive games, he's going to be much better. He does look for the ball. Then Storm v Broncos, last one here. Paynas, last victory lap for you guys who captained him. Bravo. It was about 10% of top teams. So he was a major pod captain, 46 tackles, 3 tackle breaks, 5 offloads, 152 run meters. Bravo. Base stat and Mayo stat, 81 points. Wishart with a 76, had that try saver. You got the line break there as well. And then just really solid stats across the board. 33 tackles, nearly 100 meters run. Pretty involved in the kicking there too. Cam Munster didn't dominate the kicking in this one. So 246 kick meters, split the kicking with Tyron Wishart. But we saw more running out of him this week. So 125 run meters. It was quite low in the first half. It really heated up in the second half. He had the 6 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, a forced turnover. 5 missed tackles isn't great, but had that try assist as well on 21 tackles. 63 points from Munster. He's looking like the 60-plus guy down the stretch here. Then Ricky with a 60. I'm not that keen. Eli Katoa, a 58 here. 139 run meters, 1 offload, 4 tackle breaks, 37 tackles. Just, again, big work rate, getting very involved. A lot of base here. Katoa's really putting the team on his shoulders on that edge. Hasn't had the easy attacking plays that he has with Hughes, but still getting the job done. So if you're a Katoa owner, you're a happy owner. Harry Grant had that try assist line break, but only 57 here. You sort of wanted a bit more just with how he was playing. You take the 57, right? You definitely take the 57. But I reckon you were thinking, like the way he was playing, you thought he might crack a few more points there. He's got it in his bag. He looks like he's going to crack like 70 plus all the time and just doesn't quite get there. And I think he will get one before the end of the year. Paddy Carrigan at 55, got 80 minutes here, but didn't really help the Broncos. They obviously had both their halves go down with injuries in the first half. Coates, 2 tries at 54. Nick Meaney at 53 in this one. 8 tackle breaks was the big play there. Ataka Manu, 51 in 51. 6 tackle breaks, 3 offloads. It's a story. Leo, a 49, got big minutes there. Pappenhausen grabbed a try and 49 points there. 200 meters plus run, 5 tackle breaks. Very involved. Not goal kicking right now, though, so that really tapers off his potential. If you throw in the goal kicking, he might have been like a 55. Ben Hunt, big pod we could talk about here, 432K. He is going to be the half for the run home here. They're obviously missing Adam Reynolds for the rest of the season. I think Reynolds comes back for the first week of the finals. Ezra Mam, I think he's back if they make it into a couple of weeks of the finals there. So Ben Hunt will be the dominant half most likely, potentially next to Jock Madden or, Kobe Black. Like, we'll see what happens here. But Ben Hunt potentially going to be that dominant half and average about 50 points for run home. Tony Staggs, a 36 here. Anderson, Shibasaki, Cobo, King, Jezewski all in the 30s there. And then to the 20s, Reece Walsh. Tough game here, losing your halves. Just sort of felt a bit rudderless, the Broncos attack, and he really suffered here. Lasardi, Hetherington, Jensen, Chan, Walters. In the 20s there, Sean Bloor with a 19 and 51, an absolute shocker. And I've seen him in a few teams, actually some high-ranked teams as well, who went for the pod. That one burned you. That one burned you. And yeah, it's a rough go. Kamika, so 19 points in 29 minutes. His minutes have been coming up, but just not enough to be really relevant. Hunt, Tolty, Reynolds obviously went down 21 minutes in, 12 points, and Ezra Mam got 1 point here in the 22 minutes, 21 minutes as well. So obviously Xavier Coates made that break, and both of them did their hammies, which was absolutely brutal. Now, in terms of this week's play, we got the Raiders on a bye. So for your team, you want to look at your team and you want to think, all right, assume Isaiah Yo won't play. Your Raiders aren't going to play, and you don't want to be running guys like Latu Fainu, Tanda Silva, Tui Kamitha, like these types of players. Like you don't want to be running them. So you're in a spot where I'm going to go Tapane. He will replace Terrell May in that spot. May will come into the Tapane spot. Starting team will stay exactly the same. Bench will stay pretty much exactly the same as well. I'll run a loophole between Turbo and Galvin. I might trade Latu, but probably not. I've only got 2 trades left now. I did use one trade this week to go to Isaiah Katoa from Isaiah Yo, just because I sort of thought, that shoulder, it sounds like it might be a couple of weeks. I was on the fence about it, and I just sort of decided, you know what, Galvin's in a bit of doubt, like Turbo in the rain against Canberra. I'll bring Katoa in. I think he's going to be solid down the stretch. In terms of games order this week, Panthers v Storm is up first, so that's good for a loop if you have those guys. And then we've got Warriors v Dragons, Roosters v Dogs. So I'm probably going to be looping Roosters Dogs most likely. Probably Galvin into Turbo again. I would say it's probably the play. Maybe I'll look at I'll look at Turbo and I'll look at Drinky with matchups. I view them as kind of similar. So Turbo, where are you, Turbo? Turbo up against the Tigers, Drinky up against the Knights. They're both pretty good matchups, actually. I might try to play both of them. Galvin up against the Chooks, that could be a nice attacking day too. So I'll play around with my loopholes this week, but because I like the Sharks matchup as well, actually. I like that Titans game. I think it should be a bit of a shootout here. So I'll be looking at that, but most likely a Galvin and Turbo loophole is my plan there. If you guys are running too many Canberra Raiders players, you might need to make a couple of trades. You can hold your Raiders and try and sell someone like Latu Fainu. That's the key play there. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on Buy, Hold, Sell this week. We obviously do Teamless Tuesday live as well. We're doing all the normal videos, so keep on pumping. Head-to-head finals are running, and you can make up some big ranks right now. A lot of coaches are running out of trades. If you're one that's run out of trades, just try to play it as well as you can. Have some fun with some pod captains and rip in. All right, see you on the next video, guys. Peace out.